Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Tulsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Why, hello. Welcome back to the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony, a.k.a. Jack Burton, a.k.a. Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing really good. Ready to shake the pillars of heaven, my friend. Let's do it.
Always, my friend, always. So very happy to be back. We have a big show coming up today and next week. As we know, the Oscars are within 10 days from now. So we like to talk Oscars on this show, and why not get into some Oscar talk today?
I am excited, my friend. Got a lot of fun stuff planned, a lot of deep stuff. Just a lot. So it's going to be fun. And man, I'm ready to dive right in.
Yes, sir. But let's go straight into our first segment of what we've been watching, my friend.
That's a meme. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching this week, Tom?
This week, I got two movies that I've been watching. One of them is Very Bad Things, directed by Peter Berg from 1998. It is a black comedy film loaded with a lot of what I deem to be pretty awesome actors, including everyone from Daniel Stern and Christian Slater to Jeremy Piven and, well, Jon Favreau, who directed this movie. And it is his first directorial Peter Berg directed the movie, but Jon Favreau's in the movie, and it's just Cameron Diaz does a really, really good job too. Dark comedy about a man who is going to get married and has a bachelor party out in Las Vegas. And right in the title, Very Bad Things, and boy, does it get bad. You ever see this one?
Yes, this is the one where the prostitute, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, yes, I have seen it. Very long time ago. Saw it once. Very interesting. It had some funny parts. Good cast. I love the part when they're in the when he's calling from his work, when he goes back and forth, when they go to his work. That part's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I think with Jon Favreau, Jeremy Piven, even though he's a horrible person in real life.
Yeah.
His comedy is pretty funny.
Yes, it is. But Daniel Stern and Christian Slater, I pretty much like in a lot of things. And if it's been a long time since you've seen the movie, it's definitely one that is a lot, what's the word I'm saying, more, it plays more as you're a little bit older, maybe after you're getting married and having a bachelor party, that it's ridiculous, especially before it all goes wrong, when they're really having a fun time. It's, don't have those kind of fun times anymore these days because, well, we're fathers and, well, that's just the way it goes.
Hey, I'm living the best life there, too.
Oh, I know. I'm living the best life, too. Great life. Just, not in Las Vegas for a weekend, all the time. But that being said, the other movie that I watched was Rain Man. Being that we were doing an Academy Award show, I decided to peek back into the past. And the Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Original Screenplay winner from 1988, Rain Man is, oh yes, that is true. And when they catch him, this is probably what he's going to say. Son of a bitch! Great line from Rain Man, one of my personal favorites. And again, just this week, word is coming around that Tom Cruise is getting back and wanting to work with big time directors again, because believe it or not, people might not know this, but he has worked with, well, some of the best. Everyone from Martin Scorsese and Paul Thomas Anderson to Steven Spielberg and Ron Howard, who's celebrating a birthday today. So Rain Man is one that I enjoy a lot. And Dustin Hoffman, I wanted to do two Dustin Hoffman movies because I don't think Dustin Hoffman gets the credit that a Pacino or a De Niro deserves, but I believe he's like right there. He's got some really good movies that I enjoy. What do you think of Rain Man?
I love Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman and me actually share the same birthday. Of course, he's like 50 years older than me, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. I love the walk down to the casino scene.
Mhm.
You know, it's been parodied in other movies. The Hangover when they go to play blackjack.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great movie. I really like. I actually like Tom Cruise taking out the outside, the weird side of him. Like, is a phenomenal actor,
Oh,
and he does not get enough credit for that. And I'm saying he can do comedy, he could do drama, he can do. You know, I haven't really seen him in a horror type movie, but I'm pretty sure he would do knock it out of the ballpark. He's a big time celebrity that can sell tickets to get people to come see him.
definitely, definitely, definitely. What have you been watching, my man?
So I saw 2 films that I have never seen before. The first was The Judge, and the film is released in 2014, and it's actually released by Project Downey, which is Robert Downey Jr. and his wife's, production company. It was the first film released from that company, and it's actually Robert Downey Jr.'s first starring role outside the Avengers. It starred Robert Downey Jr., Robert Duvall, Billy Bob Thornton, Verma Farmiga, and, Vincent D'Onofrio. It's a very powerful film. It's about Robert Downey Jr. is a lawyer. He basically goes to see his dad, who he has a bad relationship with, who's a judge, after his mom passes, and just like a bunch of things kind of fold from there. It gives you a lot of Tony Stark vibes, and that's the way Downey wanted to portray his character at first to get people pulled in. But it's an emotional film. I really, really enjoyed it. Duvall actually got nominated for an Oscar that year for it. He was the oldest nominee at 83 years old. He's still kicking too and still acting, Robert Duvall. Phenomenal movie. I highly recommend if you guys haven't seen it to check it out. It's very good. I really enjoyed that one. Have you seen this one?
Oh yeah, I've seen The Judge, and as you just stated, it's a really good movie. A lot of the movies that I enjoy mostly in my movie filmography are movies like The Judge, something a little bit more introspective. Robert Duvall is also like a Dustin Hoffman to me. He is that right there. A lot of good movies, really, really does a good job. And as you stated, still acting to great heights. And Robert Downey Jr., it was cool to see him again be in a movie like this again. Um, he's got a new television show that looks really good coming on HBO, where it looks like he's playing 4 or 5 roles in the whole show. It's coming out in the next couple months. It looks like he's also getting back into like the Tom Cruise, trying to do a little bit more of that, movies like this. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's good. And then while I was watching The Judge, I went through Prime and I saw this movie Hostels. It's a film I haven't really heard of, to be honest with you. It stars Christian Bale, Wes Studi, Rory Cochrane, Jonathan Majors in it, Rosamund Pike's in it, and Jesse Plemons is in it. So it's like an all-star cast. It's basically set in the Old West. Uh, Basically, Christian Bale's ordered to take a tribal chief back to his homeland in Montana. This film, I think, beautifully shot. The cinematography is awesome. The scenery is beautiful. I just think the message kind of fell short for me. I don't think it's a horrible film, but it's not like it should be better than what it was. It's kind of a missed opportunity. Have you seen this film, Tom?
Yes, I have. When I read your review on Letterbox, and and from that perspective that you're saying, because I think you were trying to say that you can't just spending a little bit of time with somebody who maybe you hate doesn't really make me
Mhm.
erase that. And honestly, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. For me, I think it's those first things that you talked about: the cinematography, the acting, Bale, West. I'm a big West Studi fan. The story itself, again, it's like out of 5, 3.5, like you said. It could have been a little bit more, but again, serviceable, movie to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't like I said, it was enjoyable. Just that I just the only thing with the plot I didn't like. And like if you want to know what I really thought about the plot, I don't want to give it away here, but you can look me up on Letterbox and my reviews there, like a little deeper into the plot.
Yeah.
But it just had a phenomenal cast, and that's what kind of drove me into it. I'm a big fan of Wes Studi. I loved him in Geronimo. I loved him in Last of the Mohicans. He's also in a bunch of Tony Hillerman books, Sacred Clowns. He plays Joe Leaphorn. which is books I read with our native books. Uh, Phenomenal actor, and like I do like the fact that he got his shine here doing kind of a co-starring role, and I love the fact that they actually had them talk in Cheyenne.
Mm.
Wes Studi actually is Cherokee, is fluent in Cheyenne Cherokee, and most of his dialogue is in Cheyenne. It's not really in English, which I thought was kind of cool.
Well, that was the kind of stuff that I thought in the movie, which is what made it really awesome. You know what I mean? You know, I think Bale did a good job in his performance, his sullen performance. You know, like you said, it's not quite as good as like Hell or High Water, but it's like in this Western, these new kind of Western territory of film that could have been better, you know.
Yeah.
But
So I would recommend check it out. Let me know what you guys think. So that's what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over at the Show Pod on Twitters, or at the Little Yumper, which is my Twitter handle, or at the Sugar Baggy, which is Tony's Twitter handle. And let us know what you've been watching this week. But with that, Tone, we have a special guest today for our next segment. So let's introduce him. So today we got the king of the ass, emperor ass, king ass Sam Reeves.
Are you not entertained?
How you doing, my man?
I am doing well. How are you guys doing today?
Good,
Great.
man. Good. So Sam, you're on for our In Defense segment. So In Defense segment basically is we pick a movie that kind of gets a bad rap and we defend it, and we give our people give their reasons why, and you either agree or disagree, but it's all in good fun and all in entertainment, my man.
Oh, perfect. I'm always here to defend things that I love that nobody else does, like myself.
So before we get to your film, Sam, I wanted to know just a couple things about you.
Sure.
What type of genre of film are you really like into?
Stoner comedy.
So like Pineapple Express is like one of your best ones?
Yeah, Pineapple Express, Superbad, 40-Year-Old Virgin, all that stuff. Any of the Will Ferrell stuff, other guys, Ricky Bobby, and any of the dumb comedy stuff is really my niche for things. Shocking, I know.
No, it's now that I know you better. Yeah, it's totally.
But I do like, some good drama movies, mob movies, stuff like that too. So, but yeah, I mean, my niche is really, dumb comedies. So,
would you prefer to go in theater or stream? I know streaming has become big these days.
I'll like go in theater if it's like a movie I really want to see and don't want to wait for. I also do theater for a lot of the Marvel stuff just so I don't see like spoilers and all that stuff. Obviously like something with Oppenheimer I wanted to go see in theater, saw it on 70mm IMAX, which was pretty sweet. So it's really just dependent on the film for me.
Cool. And our last question I'll ask you is, what's a film that you watch on a rainy day, like when you're sick or you're just not feeling well? A film that not just to kill time, but kind of like brings your spirits up.
Oh my gosh, there's so many to pick from. That's true. I did manage a movie theater.
AMC?
No, it was a little rinky-dink 2-screen movie theater.
Oh,
in
that's
McHenry.
awesome. Really?
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
cool. How
Kenner,
long did you do
Illinois.
that? How long did you do that?
A year and a half.
Wow.
Nice.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Back when I was 17, 18.
Still, that's really cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's fun. I don't know. Like I love the movie Con Air. It's a good good
Yes.
guilt watch for me. The other guys,
the
anytime
bunny.
that's on, I'll stop and watch it. But Superbad's probably like the go-to for that.
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Superbad.
It's always good.
Yeah, it's such great writing. So you brought us a movie. You brought us 2004's The Punisher. So just a little background on it. It's directed by Jonathan Hensleigh, and this is his directorial debut. He also wrote films, though. He wrote The Saint. He wrote Jumanji, Die Hard with a Vengeance. He also wrote Armageddon. It stars Thomas Jane, John Travolta, Will Patton, Laura Herring, Ben Foster, Rebecca Romaine, Stamos as well. The movie had a budget of $33 million and a box office of $54.7 million. So Sam, when did you first discover this film?
Probably 2005. I think my brother, we found it on DVD at whatever store. And we saw it was like Marvel, and it was just after Spider-Man 2 came out, and we're all big into that stuff. So we figured, hey, this is probably similar, like, you know, it's a superhero movie. It's gotta be, right? No. It's a
Yeah,
little different.
totally a punch in the face difference to it. So were you a big fan of comic books growing up?
Yeah, just mostly Spider-Man. Like we'd read a lot of Spider-Man comics. So that was like our big thing. So we kind of like knew the Punisher from the Spider-Man video games, Spider-Man comics, all that. So we are like, oh, you know, it's just like this. Like, oh, you know, it'll be pretty fine and whatever. Oh, it's rated R. Oh, it's rated R. Oh, okay. Oh, this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah. So like watching the film, what did you think of John Travolta's performance?
Uh, I think it was one of the greatest comedic performances of all time.
It's an amazing performance. You know, people talk Saturday Night Fever and they talk Urban Cowboy or Grease, but I mean, it's the Punisher that he should be known for.
Oh, absolutely.
Pulp Fiction, what?
Oscar snub for
Yeah,
sure.
I know it was. It really was. I think that year it was just such a packed field. He was the next one up.
The one question I have about it is like, was that really his hair?
That's what I always go to is every time he's angry in that movie, that hair is everywhere.
I picked up enough Inquirer magazines where they've talked about like his different hairstyles that he really is good at leaving the house with a different hairstyle, like Battlefield Earth hairstyle. I mean, he leaves with lots of different hairstyles.
And he had the long center part, which was
Yeah,
freaking hilarious.
it was like
The swordfish, you know, it was called.
yeah, he had a little the little goatee swordfish. You know this look kind of remind me of Swordfish, to be honest with you. So from this film, what what was your favorite scene from it?
It's probably the scene in the diner when the character of Harry Heck comes in and starts playing that song, and you can tell Frank Castle, Tom J's character, is just like, "The hell is going on? Like, why is this guy playing this song?" And then obviously, like, you know, he says whatever he says to him, and then he drives and then cuts to the next scene. He's just driving down the road, and so he looks up in his reverse, sees a car coming down on him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And then when he's doing all the stuff with the car, pulling down the bulletproof case and everything, I'm like, "Oh, this is badass as hell."
Yeah, I mean, this film has a lot of action in it. Like what you would agree, it's on like it's pretty fast paced.
Oh yeah, very fast paced.
But I think that's where kind of like it gets like a bad rap too. It's because there's not a lot of substance. It's more like push, push, and then I told you this on the off screen. Like I don't think the film is bad. Like I think it gets a total bad rap. I think it's because it's related. It's closely related to Marvel, and that's why people give it a bad rap. I think it's a good revenge movie that just shouldn't be Marvel. I think me personally, like Thomas Jane, I think is a great actor. I just don't know. I just after seeing John Berthal play Frank Castle now in the new Netflix series. It's just like he should have been the person to play him the whole time. That's just my opinion. Like, would you agree?
I have not seen the new Punisher series or the Daredevils or any of that stuff that Netflix did. So Tom Jane is my Punisher forever and always.
What about you, Son?
My Frank Castle.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this movie came out when I was at Ball State, and this is during my time period where I mean I would really make fun of movies, and I didn't make fun of this movie too much. It was again, I think it was because Travolta's cheesiness in the movie saved it for me. I will watch a movie. There's this movie with Travolta that Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit directed. If you have never seen, it's really really good. Where Travolta plays. You know what? I gotta look what the name of this movie is, but it's just
Michael?
Great. No, but that's that would have been a good one because he plays an angel in that one. But the movie, it's good, and it was for what it is. You know, it's should have won the Oscar the year it came out. It
The Fanatic.
Yeah, the Fanatic is what it is called. He plays. I don't know how to describe his character. It's somewhere between Sling Blade and something else. Yes, this is also true.
Jackie says in the comments, also every douche has a Punisher logo vinyl sticker on the back of their Ford F-150s. That also gives it a bad rap. That's true. So like I said, the film, like I actually watched it. I was like, it's very graphic. And you know, when I was doing a little research for it, The film was actually it's like an hour and 21 minutes. It was supposed to be over 2.5 hours, and they cut out a lot from the film. Reason being, they thought it was too long. Like there was supposed to be a reason why, Frank's family was found out in Puerto Rico. Like apparently the guy who was his old partner sold them out for gambling debt, which I thought would have added more to the film because they just randomly found them on the beach of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
There was more stuff with Will Patton. I think Will Patton's a great actor. I think he was kind of a little wasted here. His character was.
Will Patton's great, and he's great in this movie too. I remember his performance again that stuck with me in the movie also. Ridiculous. Thomas Jane does a good job. This is the guy from Deep Blue Sea, another cinematic masterpiece. Dolph Lundgren also played the Punisher in a early 1990s version of the Punisher, which is also ridiculous. But Punisher is, Bernthal does a good job, but I wish they would have maybe expanded more on Thomas Jane's. They gave Aquaman 2 movies. They could have gave Thomas Jane another movie.
Well, they were going to, and they couldn't get the script written out in time, and then it just took too long to where Jane just left the project. He was always their number one choice for this role, which I could see because he does have a good look.
Yeah.
I just think maybe his dialogue is kind of what threw it off.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the action. Like, I love the fact when Kevin Nash comes, the Russian comes, they fight, and I read he literally really stabbed him in that scene, and as a payment, he took beers from the crew. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
but this is the first R-rated movie to come out since Blade 2. For Marvel at the time, a comic book adaptation. So I don't think it's a horrible movie. Like I said, I just think that it kind of gets to more of a bad rap because it's connected to Marvel. I think it's a great revenge movie. Very graphic too.
Yeah.
It is. It is very graphic. It's very it's dark, for what it's doing for Ebert, he gave it a couple stars, which is not bad for Roger Ebert, for all this hate that it gets, it's pretty much, he calls it down the middle.
I'll tell you this, Sam. Ebert gave this like a couple stars, and I think he gave like The Usual Suspects a star and a half because he couldn't understand it.
There you go.
So this movie outdid Ebert's review of the Usual Suspects.
This is how I win.
Another great part of the film that I really enjoyed because I totally forgot he was in there was Roy Scheider.
Oh yeah, that's his dad.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, it's the guy from Jaws.
Yeah.
That part made me laugh. Like I said, it has a real big like cast in here. One thing I do, since you're a comedy guy, I wish they would have used John Panette a little more. But that's his name.
I love John Panette.
Yeah, I wish they would have used him a little more. I think his character could have been more funny. And they kind of wasted like his comedic genius because he was a really funny dude.
Oh, he was the best.
If you guys don't know him, he's the guy who does the bit about the Chinese buffet and how they get mad about him being overweight and eating at the buffet. But he's like he did mostly self-deprecating humor, kind of like early Ralphie May is what he reminds me of. But he was hilarious. But I wish they would have used him more. Like, would you agree?
I agree. I know his character was, they all lived in the apartment building together, and he was supposed to be like the easygoing, like, just love to cook for everybody, do be like the friendly neighbor and everything. And they didn't really go into much of like who they were as like side characters or anything. I mean, they did that with Ben Foster's a little bit more than they did with John Panette's. But yeah, it would have been good to see more of John Panette in that movie.
I just realized my wife just put in there, it's not Superman, but I still like this Reeves.
Now, there's Christopher Reeve. Common misconception. That's that's his last name. My allegedly my great uncle George Reeves was the first ever Superman on television.
Yeah. Oh,
really?
You're
Awesome.
related to George.
Allegedly, I'm related to George Reeves.
Hey, even if it's like 1700 down the line, just being this close is amazing. You're on the show tonight. Thank you.
So you really are royalty.
Yeah, it really is.
I've seen nothing from it. So
I've seen nothing.
Hey, man, that's a cool story to tell, though.
And so Ben Affleck played my great uncle in Hollywood land.
Yeah, I just was gonna come out of my mouth right there. I was gonna say, and Ben Affleck.
Another fantastic film.
Oh yeah, classic.
Oh man, I saw that movie in theater. That was a long one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I'm a big Affleck mark.
Yeah.
Is there a scene where you like we were talking about how graphic is? Is there a scene that really stuck out to you, Sam, about like the brutality and violence?
Well, there's two. The one is the fight with the Russian when he boils his face. And
Right.
it's real gross when he throws a pot of boiling water on him. And then you see him coming out with a blistered face and still fighting him. Just bananas. But then the other scene is with Ben Foster when he's getting his piercings removed.
Yeah,
Against his will.
yeah, and I wish, like I said, I wish they would have expanded upon like the relationship with them because I mean, he kind of says why he did what he did, but I wish they would have like developed those characters just a little bit more because it would have been nice. I think when I was reading, they had Microchip, which is a big Punisher character, sidekick, was supposed to be in this, and the director didn't like the character, so he cut him off. So yeah, the director's like, "Fuck this guy, I'm gonna do this." But like I said, it's not a bad movie. I didn't think it was bad. It does get a bad rap. Apparently, Brian walked out of this one.
Yeah, but that Brian doesn't know anything about film. Come on.
Tell him, what do you give it, or your overview of the film?
The overall review, again, it's I call this one like a Saturday night film where you're sitting around with a bunch of people, you put it on, there's action. It's not something that it should win the Oscar, but it's just right almost there. But being a Thomas Jane fan, and honestly, he had the show that was on HBO, if you've never seen it, called Hung.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, and he's in Boogie Nights is my favorite character and one of my favorite movies. And honestly, I think he does a good job as the Punisher. Again, I'm like Ebert. I'd say 2.5, 3 stars just for some good fun time.
He's also in The Mist.
Great in The Mist. Great movie. Great.
Have you seen The Mist, Sam?
I haven't seen it. I know kind of like about like what the ending is and everything, of course, because it's always been talked about. But obviously, it's a Stephen King book, right?
Yeah, it's the ending in the book is totally different from the ending in the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but King loved the ending in the film over the book, which is kind of funny because he wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Tom Jane as Tom Jane in Arrested Development.
It's another great show too.
Who are you? Tom Jane.
Yeah, he's a great comedic actor, which is kind of funny too. Like he has but yeah, this film, like I said, check it out. Can you tell us what you think? Sam, I don't think you brought a bad film, Sam. You actually brought a film that probably gets shit on more than it should be.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, it wasn't like when he said the Punisher, I was like, ooh, we're doing the Punisher? No, I don't want to do this. I'm going to have to lie here tonight. No. I mean, it went from first remember seeing it, and it's back in a time where I was a little more serious on film. I was like, oh, it's not bad.
I told Sam I want to name our first kid after my brother Christopher, and he said absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know. Right, not a good idea.
It's funny. Tony.
Unless he falls off a horse.
Oh my god.
Oh, too soon.
So this reminds me, like, do you remember?
I
remember
watching a good movie with him, John Carpenter.
Yeah, Goes Damn. But do you remember, like, when that accident happened, like the Super Bowl commercials? They used to be really big, and I was watching WGN News with Allison Payne when she was still on there, and they were showing some clips of like the Super Bowl commercials that are coming up. I forget what Super Bowl it was, but there was a Super Bowl commercial that was talking about technology to repair people's lives, and it was like him getting up out of a chair and walking, like the technology that they were doing. And I'm like, I was thinking about it then, and then now that I think about it, like they never did that. Like, unfortunately, he passed.
Yeah.
Here's who was his college roommate.
Ooh.
Anybody know?
No, I don't know.
Nope.
It was part of one of our polls this week. Robin Williams. They were really good friends.
Oh,
interesting.
So but sad is that he's somebody I always think of the what could have been. Like if that didn't happen, what movies could he have still made? Because he was actually a really, really good actor. He's got this movie called Somewhere in Time, a good romance movie. He's got good stuff.
I think he could have had like a Robert Redford career. Just play those key, like little bit part key main actors that just the character actor that you love. And I think he could have done that because he for one, he was still a good looking dude and he could act his ass off.
Yeah.
Like I really liked him in Village of the Dam. I saw that in a drive-in, Village of the Dam.
I just remember like when it happened, my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, this is just so awful." He was such a handsome man. I was like, "Oh, this," and then you really think about it, and he had children and a son, and they still, raising awareness and stuff. But it's a shame.
Yeah, and also in like Total Humor and Bad Taste, Eminem actually did a song with him about him. Did you ever hear that, Sam?
I don't know. Which song is it?
It's called Medicine Ball. Look up Medicine Ball. It's off his Recovery
Okay.
album. And there's a part where he goes back and forth with Christopher Reeves. And it's funny because in his album he has his manager call in. He always has his voicemails from his manager. And his manager's like, "You're talking about Christopher Reeves. The guy's dead, right?" It's just like, what an asshole. But he does a song about him to make fun of him.
Well, I was also going to say on the comedic timeline, my favorite Christopher Reeve bit is in South Park when they have him doing stem cells to be able to walk again. And he's not like he's like cracking open fetuses and like sucking out the stem cells. And like Gene Hackman shows up to tell him to stop doing that.
South Park is out there, man. No, but Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything to plug, my friend?
We have Asscast every Thursday at 7:00 Central Time. Talking out our asses every other Tuesday. We won't have it this Tuesday. We'll be back March 12th with Herb Lawrence from CHGO Sports. So if you're around, check that out for us. And we got pumping out some more blogs here as baseball season kicks off. So you'll see a little bit more from us here as we move along. So
yes, check out Sam's shows on the YouTube. Talking Out of My Ass is probably one of my favorite shows to watch because it's totally random, but the guest brings on really good conversation with Josh Nelson.
Yep.
On society in general.
And Yumper was our very first guest on the show. So.
Oh yeah. I brought me and that's when Stoop said his infamous line.
Yeah.
On TikTok about me. Yeah, this does great stuff. I love watching you guys whenever I get a chance. So be sure to check out the Asscast and subscribe there.
Always really good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Too.
So that was one of my favorite people from Twitter, Tone. I look when I see his little snide remarks on Twitter, his jokes, they crack me up. So they I look forward to them when I look at them.
Always brings a really, really good time. I remember a long time ago, when I first seen him, like I said, it was just right away. Good vibes, hilarious, always kind. That's what we look for here at the Hookup. I mean, the hookup the hookup on being a good place. I almost messed that up. I forgot I'm on.
It's okay, man. Brian's
what I was saying, and I was saying, getting to say, and I wasn't going to say it, was that way back when he, one of the first podcasts he had come on was the Hookup on Film, and it was like so awesome when he agreed to come on that I wasn't even going to bring that stupid ass show up, and then when I went to say the next thing, I, as you could see, but I'm ready to rock. Let's keep the train rolling, my friend.
It's all good, Tone. But yeah, thank you, Sam, for coming on. We appreciate it, my man. We will definitely have him on again for probably something more of a deeper dive with him into some comedy films that we can go through.
Please.
But let's get to our main event here, Tone. We're going to be talking about Oscars. So we're going to be talking about the Oscars. As you know, like I said, the Oscars are 10 days away. We decided to do 2 shows on the Oscars. Next week, we'll be going through the 2024 nominees and giving our picks to win on Friday, and the Oscars will be Sunday. So that's going to be for next week. But this week, Tone, you came up with a great idea. Let's do something with, a little bit of history of the Oscars. So we're going to be going through, the Best Picture award. Yeah, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the history of the Best Picture, and then we're going to go through from when it got expanded in 2009 to 2023. Excuse me. So great topic, my friend. Are you ready to get rocking and rolling on this?
I'm really excited. I'm glad that you were very accepting to this amazing idea, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. This is actually, doing research for this was like something that was kind of out of the ordinary for me, because it's it's more of like a award type instead of doing a film deep dive. So it was
Mhm.
really nice, kind of like a breath of fresh air to try something new.
It
Uh,
really honestly, you are not wrong. I was actually saying this at dinner tonight that it's something a little bit different, a little bit more breath, and it's gonna be good. Let's
cool.
do it.
So let's go into this history of the Best Picture award. So the award wasn't introduced until the third Oscar ceremony in 1929. The previous awards were the most outstanding production, which was first won by the film Wings, and the most artistic quality of production, which was won by the film Sunrise. The awards were intended to honor different and equally important aspects of superior filmmaking, and in fact, the judges and the studio bosses shock, shock, sought to influence these decisions and paid more attention to more of the latter, meaning they wanted to see how the artistic quality of production was. They didn't really care about the outstanding production. Metro Goldwyn Mayer's head at the time, Louis B. Mayer, disliked the realism of one of his own productions, the King Vidor's The Crowd film. He hated the realism of it, and his own studio made it. So he pressured the judges not to honor that his own studio's film and select the Sunrise film instead. And they decided retroactive that the award won by Wings has been equivalent of the award, with the result that Wings is often listed as the winner of the sole Best Picture award for the first year. The title of the award was eventually changed to Best Picture for the 1931 awards. Until 1950, the Best Picture award was given out to a production company. From 1951, it has gone to the producer of the company. So usually when you see they say the Best Picture nominees, they would say who did the producing. The official name of the award has changed several times over the years. So we said 1927, 28 to 28, 29 was Outstanding Picture. From 1930 to 1940, Outstanding Production. 41 to 43 was the Outstanding Motion Picture. 44 to 61, Best Motion Picture. And what we get today is the Best Picture. So that is like a brief little history of the award itself and category itself. But since 1944, the best category had 5 nominees. However, in 2009, the Academy Awards Association was acting like the NCAA and decided to add some more teams to it. And they announced that they would increase the nominees to 10. And this is because back before, when there was only 5 nominees, they always had a short list of 8 to 12 other films that kinda didn't make it because you only could choose 5. Now we have 10. So, Tone, what do you think about this change?
I've been back and forth on it since it's happened. I grew up in a household where even when I was 2, 3, 4, 5, my mom tells stories of she would have Oscar and Academy Award parties at the house with her friends. They would all fill out ballads. They would do this. They would do this. So since I've been a child, I've watched all of these even before probably I can remember. And I like the 5, 9 and 10. It's a lot, and that's what we're going to kind of get to when we start to go through those. Is it a lot? Is it not? What do we think here? It's honestly, I go back and forth on it quite a lot.
So do I. I think a variety of more is good because some films should get out are kinda getting, outshunned that should be nominated.
Mhm.
But even, as we go through these awards, some of them were not even, like, the correct movie shouldn't have won in certain instances. Uh, but that's the history of the Best Picture award. We're gonna go through them from 2009 to 2023 with some extra little categories added in that, I threw it together. But the first one we're gonna start with is the last 5 picture, Best Picture award, and the nominees were Slumdog Millionaire, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, and The Reader, and that was in 2009. So Slumdog Millionaire took home the Oscar this year. Tone, what do you think about this process here, like, or this result?
Personally, I would not myself had picked Slumdog Millionaire as the victor that year. I would have probably went with Milk. I like the movie a lot, but I can see why Slumdog Millionaire did win. Um, this is also a reason why I would think that if a movie like Slumdog Millionaire could win over a movie like Milk, expanding it to let more movies in that would be more like Slumdog Millionaire to beat more movie. You know, that's what confuses me sometimes because even a movie like Slumdog Millionaire in a 5-picture race still won. But I don't know. What do you think?
Sam said it should have been Tropic Thunder. So Tropic Thunder should have been nominated for something more than just a best supporting actor. I thought it was phenomenally done. But me personally, looking at the nominees, I like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but I think The Wrestler was actually more impactful.
Mm.
I think The Curious Case of Benjamin Button got more of a big name to it because it was Brad Pitt. Uh, I think Milk probably is the best film of that year. And I think probably when Slumdog Millionaire won, they probably were that's what probably induced the change. Uh, so I would have probably given it to Milk, and I would have switched out Curious Case of Benjamin Button for The Wrestler.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, it isn't until recently, within the last year, that I've really come around on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So, I could see that.
Yes, RDJ getting the Oscar nom will always be the greatest thing that has ever happened. Well, Sam, it happened again because he's up for an Oscar this year.
Ooh.
Um, but that's the 2009 one. So that's the one that actually kind of, they say, the straw that broke the camel's back. And then we move on to 2010. And this is the first year we have the longer list of nominees. So we have The Hurt Locker by Catherine Bigelow, Mark Bowl, Nicholas Katter, Greg Shapiro as producers. This was the winner that year, and it was the lowest grossing film to win. The other nominees were Avatar by James Cameron and John Landau as the producers, The Blind Side, Gil Netter, Andrew A. Kosoff, Roderick Johnson as the producers, District 9, Peter Jackson, Carolyn Cunningham, and an Education, Fiona Dwyer, Amanda Posey, Inglorious Bastards, Lawrence Bender is the producer of that film. Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire, Lee Daniels, Sarah Siegel Magnus, and Gary Magnus were the producers for that film. A Serious Man, Joe Cohen, Ethan Cohen, the Cohen brothers. Up was Jonas Rivera as a producer, and then Up in Air as Daniel Dubricki, Ivan Reitman, Jason Reitman. What do you think of this result? As we said, the Hurt Locker one.
Oh, again, this is why I wanted to do this, because with this many picks, I'm curious to see how many times I'm going to say that, and I wouldn't have picked the Hurt Locker for this one. Personally, I don't, it's an okay movie to me. But that wouldn't even be, I don't think, in my top 3 on this list. There are movies that I think that people probably haven't even really seen, like A Serious Man. It's a really, 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 really underrated, and it's a dark comedy, pretty funny Coen Brothers movie. Michael Stahlberg, who you love from the one and only Boardwalk Empire, I think his performance on that show is just as good as everyone else's performance. And if you get a chance to see this movie, of course, that wouldn't be my best picture. I probably would have to give it to Inglorious Bastards or I like Up in the Air quite a bit. But I don't know. How about you? Would you go with Hurt Locker?
This one, I actually enjoyed the Hurt Locker a lot. I think it didn't get enough publicity like it should have. Jeremy Renner is a great actor.
Yeah, he is a great actor.
I am impartial to Inglourious Bastards. I do like the film. A Serious Man is another great film. Up in Air is another great film. Avatar, I think, was good, but I think it kind of got the shine because it's James Cameron, and the cinematography and CGI were like impeccable. It's still good to this day. I remember seeing that film in 3D. Precious, I think, was a film that was my probably my second in running here to probably The Hurt Locker. The Blind Side was another great film. So I'm okay with The Hurt Locker winning this one. And if it didn't win, I would probably say Precious, because I thought that film was more powerful in terms of message than the others. District 9 is a great sci-fi film, but like my top 3 would probably be The Hurt Locker, Precious, and Inglourious Bastards.
Gotcha. So sometimes when you're looking for a best picture, sometimes you are looking for the message too, not just the acting or the overall visual.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really I have my little tag that says low level film critic. I'm not really I more look for the message in the film. I also see how I feel when I watch the film.
Yeah.
Does it generate like a feeling to the audience? That's something I look for. Um, I mean, like I said, Hostiles had a great cinematography, great visuals. Like I'm all into that too, but I want to see how it all blends together. And I think the Hurt Locker kind of blended everything in together uh, better than the other films.
Makes sense. I like it.
So that's 2010. We're going now into 2011. And in 2011, we had the
Now,
King's.
really quick,
Mhm.
before we go on, it's 2011 is the year of the show. The
Yes.
movies are coming out in 2010.
Yes.
So, like, which is weird because I looked up 20 lists and half of them had them saying 2010, and then it was the year that came out. So then if you're watching online, the number you see up in the corner is the year that the films came out. And you're right saying the year of when they actually were broadcast, just so that everybody would know if they're watching. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure we cover that.
Okay, cool. So 2011 was on the 2011 show. We can do it that way.
Mm.
Uh, we had The King's Speech, which is the winner. It was Ian Canning, Emil Sherman, and Gareth Irwin as the producers for that film. We had nominees. The nominees were Black Swan, Michael Modovi, Brian Oliver, Scott Franklin, The Fighter, David Halberman, Todd Lieberman, and Mark Wahlberg producers that film. Inception, Emma Thomas and Christopher Nolan producers. The Kids Are All Right, Gary Gilbert, Jeffrey Levy Hint, and Celine Rattray. 127 Hours, Christian Carlson, Danny Boyle, and John Smitherson. The Social Network, which I love their producers are The Social Network. Uh, Toy Story 3, Darla K. Anderson as a producer. True Grit, Scott Rudden, Ethan Cohen and Joe Cohen. Winter's Bone, and Rosalie and Alex Madigan Yorkic as the producers. So as we said, the King's Speech won. What are your views of this result?
This is one that I really probably out of a lot of them dislike the most because I would put the King's Speech honestly at the end. You talk about movies with message is The Kids Are All Right. I've watched quite a couple times. Mark Ruffalo again. You talk about Robert Downey Jr. and the Marvel. I'm a big same thing with Mark Ruffalo. Excellent actor. He does a great job, but so does Annette Bening and Julianne Moore, who I love in Boogie Nights and Big Lebowski. But that wouldn't be my best pick. Best picture. I also love The Black Swan quite a lot. The Fighter, great movie. A lot of people like to Social Network for its own reasons. I don't know. Give me a second to think about it. What are you going to go with? Are you going with King's Speech?
No, no.
I didn't think so.
King's
I
Speech
hope
is
not.
probably.
I hope not, because then we would be having a debate. No, I hope
Yeah,
not.
King's Speech is not. I thought it was a good film. I didn't think it should have won the Oscar for it. To me, there was two films that stood out to me. Inception, and it's not just because I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan. I love the everything is Inception. It gave me story, visuals, everything. I really like that one, and I really like Black Swan. I think Black Swan. If I had to choose between Inception and Black Swan, I would go Black Swan. Uh, but Inception is a close second. Those two films I think are way better than King's Speech. The Fighter, I love The Fighter. I think it was a good film. I think Christian Bale did an awesome job as his brother in the role as Mickey's brother, Dickie.
Mhm.
I thought he did a great, and he won a Oscar for it. So that he did a great job, which he deserved. True Grit, I love True Grit. I love the original True Grit. Um, that it's a remake, so
Yeah.
that kind of throws it out. It kind of hurts it a little bit, and just in my opinion. But like I said, Black Swan should have gotten the Oscar for this year.
Uh, Straight up question. Toy Story 3. Was this a good reason to have the category expanded so that a movie like Toy Story 3 was included as a Best Picture nominee?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Toy Story 3 was a very good film. Up was last year prior. I think there hasn't been a Pixar or animated film to win Best Picture or a superhero film. We're starting to see if that can be changed. Toy Story 3 to me was a good film to pick. I thought it was very good. Um, and the last G-rated movie, the only G-rated movie to ever win Best Picture was Oliver.
Oh,
So It deserved to be there. It was very good. I thought, like, I know they expanded upon Toy Story, but I thought Toy Story 3 was a great way to end Toy Story.
Yeah, 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 and they got another one I heard that they're making.
Except they made us think all the toys are going to die, LOL. Yeah. Caitlin says, "I've watched Inception so many times, and each time is me." I think that's what Christopher Nolan's films like. That's just him as a director. Memento is a film you have to watch a couple times because it's told from backwards. The story's told backwards.
It's true.
Uh, so those are like this is the way his I think Tenet is another film. Not one of his greater ones, but it's another film that you have to constantly watch. And sometimes people are like, "Oh, I want to watch it one time. I have to watch it multiple times." I think for him, the reason I enjoy Nolan so much is that with those films is you learn something new every time you watch it. And you see it from a different perspective every time you watch it. So that's why I like Nolan a lot. But Inception, I really liked Inception.
Yeah, so Inception's a great movie. But with you, and I think I would go with you if I could. Black Swan. Just I liked when I walked out of the movie theater. That movie, the way I felt, that's how I like feeling when I leave a movie. And Darren Aronofsky did a great job on that movie, but I just don't understand the King's Speech and why it won. But maybe some things are meant to be understood.
Yeah. When we go to like some of the stuff I want to talk about, like with my picks of older ones,
Yeah,
we can-
yeah,
you'll
oh
see
yeah.
it.
Oh, we
Um,
will.
So, and our next year is the 2012 show for the 2011 movies that were released. The winner that year was The Artist by Thomas Langman, who produced it. The nominees were The Descendants with Jim Burke, Alexander Payne, and Jim Taylor. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. That was by Scott Rudin as a producer. The Help, Brunson Green, Chris Columbus, and Michael Bretherton as the producers. Hugo, Graham King, and Martin Scorsese as the producers. Midnight in Paris, Letty Arison and Steven Tenenbaum as the producers. Moneyball, Michael DeLuca, Rachel Horowitz, and Brad Pitt. The Tree of Life, Sarah Green, Bill Pollard, Dee Dee Gardner, and Grant Hill. Every time I hear that, see Grant Hill, I always think of the basketball player.
Basketball player.
Yeah. Warhorse, Steven Spielberg, and Kathleen Kennedy as the producers. So as we said, The Artist won. I can kick this one off, Tone, for this one. The Artist, I thought, was a nice throwback to the silent film era. I did enjoy it because it was basically a whole silent film in the 2010s. Beautifully, I think it should have won cinematography award. I don't know if it should have won the best picture award, in my opinion. I think Hugo is a better film. I think The Help is a better film. I think Tree of Life is a better film. I could give it to any three of those films over The Artist. I also think The Descendants is a great film. I just think that the people got a little too caught up in the artistry of the artist to give it best picture. But I mean, I could have went with those other ones over it. What about you?
Again, unfortunately, we can't talk too much about, I mean, Midnight in Paris, I like.
Mhm.
But again, to me, this is a down year for me in movies that I enjoy out of this. Again, Moneyball is a really good movie. I don't know about Best Picture all the way to the top, but it's very good. Descendants is good. I am a big fan of the director of The Descendants, Alexander Payne. I think he's a great director. The Artist, it kind of is like, I know what they're doing. I've had this conversation with people before where it's like, do you make a movie where you are almost like a setup, like a hook that if you make it, you'll be nominated for an award. And that's kind of sometimes what The Artist feels like, because they don't make any more movies like the one movie that got nominated. It's just, I don't know. It's not a bad movie, but wouldn't be my pick. Tree of Life is, again, not bad. Warhorse isn't the worst, but it's not the best either. I mean, like I said, Extremely Loud and Close, I did not really care for that one. And I usually like movies like this, but I don't know. I would be going probably in this year with The Descendants or Moneyball. The Help, though, good story. It's actually a good book. But I don't know.
Yeah, Warhorse didn't really resonate with me. I thought it was nice looking. I think I kind of got nominated because of Spielberg.
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah,
That's why they gave that West Side Story. That one really upset. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit.
don't get
Sorry
me
about
right
that.
now.
We'll get to that a little bit.
But now since we've gone through 3 years, I believe, 2009,
Mhm,
2010, 11, 12, 4
mhm.
years, we're gonna go into a blast from the past. So I have 5 picks of films, or not films, but categories that I wanna discuss with you. My first one is the 1993 Best Actor Award. A little bit of history of the award. In the first 3 years of the awards, actors were nominated as the best in their categories, but there's a difference. At the time, all their work can be qualified during the period. So that means as many as 3 films from the actor could be used, and in some cases were listed at the award if they won. So if Pacino was in Godfather 1, 2, and A Dog's Day Night, they can nominate him and he could win for any of those 3 films, which I think is pretty crazy. However, during the third ceremony held in 1930, only one of those films was cited in each winner's final award, even though each of the acting winners had 2 films following their names on the ballots. The following year, this confusing thing was put to an end, thankfully, and they decided to make it one single film per one single performance. Starting with the ninth ceremony held in 1937, the category was officially limited to 5 nominees per year. At the ceremony held in 2013, for the films of 2012, Daniel Day-Lewis became the first actor to win this category 3 times, surpassing Marlon Brando, Gary Cooper, Tom Hanks, Dustin Hoffman, Frederick Mark, Jack Nicholson, Sean Penn, and Spencer Tracy, who all had 2 wins. Tracy and Lawrence Oliver have been nominated on 9 occasions, more than any other actor. Can you tell me who was nominated the most for Best Actress, Tone?
The most for Best Actress. Is it Meryl Streep?
Yep, Meryl Streep holds that title of being nominated the most for Best Actress. Um, the winner this year was Al Pacino for Scent of a Woman. The nominees included Robert Downey Jr. for Chaplin, Clint Eastwood for Unforgiven, Stephen Ray for The Crying Game, and Denzel Washington for Malcolm X. Now, my issue here with this nominations is that I believe this was a career award to Pacino. Son of a Woman to me was a very good film. I think Robert Downey Jr. knocked it out of the ballpark with Chaplin. It's not even my bias for Downey. It's just when I saw the film, I thought he killed it for Chaplin. I thought Clint Eastwood killed it for Unforgiven, but I thought Downey had a better performance for him. Stephen Ray, I thought was great in The Crying Game. Denzel Washington, I think, was great as Malcolm X. I think the other 4 nominees were better than Pacino. And the reason I say this is because Pacino was nominated for the Best Supporting Actor as well for Glenn Ross as Ricky Roma. And I think he knocked it out of the ballpark in that role and should have won over Gene Hackman for Unforgiven because they had Nicholson for A Few Good Men there. They had Jay Davidson for The Crying Game, and they had David Paymer for Mr. Saturday Night. I think Pacino's performance in Glenn Ross as Ricky Roma was 10 times better than Scent of a Woman. That is my personal opinion. I think Downey should have took this home, or any of the other 3 nominees should have took it home over Pacino. What do you think?
Okay, what do I think? I think we're this is getting a little hot here tonight. Wow, this is what our 7th show. I think that was the hottest you've ever gotten right there. And honestly, I do have some disagreements, but let's start from the bottom. Number 1, you're definitely right. Downey Jr. and Chaplin. I could see him definitely winning for this. Honestly, last year, I was on a break. I sat down and watched Chaplin. Movie's amazing. He's amazing in it. It's a great movie. Pacino better in Glenn Ross than in Scent of a Woman, and not only better, but 10 times better. And I love Glenn Ross. Again, back to The Artist, the movie that won when we were talking about. A movie, the Academy Awards always seem to like movies where artists seem to do things where they usually don't do. And well, Pacino playing a blind man, I mean, you might as well just have signed the Oscar over as soon as he put his name on the script. But that being said, Malcolm X actually I think it was Saturday night, me and Katie watched. It was on TV, and we watched like the last hour of that movie. A great, great performance by Denzel. The Crying Game, I'll always remember me and my mother watching it and her telling me to leave the room in a certain part in the movie. Good movie. I give it to Downey Jr. now that I watched it, but you really saying Pacino doesn't even really deserve to sniff an Oscar for
No,
this
no,
movie?
no. I said Pacino's performance in Sense of a Woman was good. I'm just saying compared to the other nominees, I
The
don't think he
line
was
where
as
he
good.
grabs Brad. I'm sorry. This is where I think this is where, for me, the difference between Glengarry and Son of a Woman was where he grabs Brad Whitford by the face and against the wall, and he says, "If I was the man I was a long time ago, I'd take a flame," and he threatens him. But I also think he's great in Glengarry Ross. It's a little bit of a dial back than Scent of a Woman. Scent of a Woman, he's in your face.
Well, Glengarry
Again,
Ross is in your face too.
he is, but
But
the movie's more of a stage play. Where Scent
yeah,
of a Woman isn't really like a stage play. It's more of a, you even got a really good performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman in there. But again, I give it to Robert Downey Jr. Clint Eastwood in The Unforgiven. You could have gave it to him. You could have gave it to Denzel. You know,
mhm.
but honestly, I don't have a disagreement with any of the other picks that you said you would have given it to. That's what makes this different. I'm not like, well, he should have won. It's more of like, I see why they picked him. If I could go back and do it again, Downey Jr. should probably get it. What we know about Downey Jr.
Yeah, and I wonder if like his past kind of came into, you know, his nomination in terms of Downey Jr.
Good.
I think Pacino's past definitely came into for he was nominated for The Godfather, Dog Days Night. He was nominated previously and didn't, he couldn't.
You
I was like
mean Dog Day Afternoon?
Dog Day Afternoon. I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
I'm thinking of the Beatles song.
No, you
Uh,
are. Long day night. I
yeah,
even said long day night. It's hard days night. See, I
Thursday
messed
night.
that up. Yeah.
I think like he this is something like he was always eluding him. The Oscar was eluding him, and he won.
Mhm.
I like I said, I thought Son of a Woman was a good film compared to the other nominees in the Best Actor category. I just think that Downey Jr. is a step above them all. Clint Eastwood I thought was very good. Unforgiven is my favorite film of all time.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I think it's the last great Western of that era film from the man who made them famous with Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood from those spaghetti westerns. And he paid tribute to it. I think we have a newer version of westerns that we see now. It's not like the older ones. Although they do try to pull some pieces from it, but it's like one of the last old classic westerns.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a great film. Stephen Ray I thought was great in The Crying Game. I thought Denzel Washington was great. Pacino I thought was good in the film. I just didn't think he was better than the other four.
I mean, I the thing about I love about doing the show with you is that I 100% respect what you're saying because you're making valid points. In most debates that I have with people, the points are about as valid as as a see-through thing. So no, you're valid points, all valid points.
What about so I gave a little bit of the supporting actor that year. It could be like a little tidbit. So I said Pacino should have won for Glenn Ross. Hackman won that year for Unforgiven as Little Bill. Nicholson was up for A Few Good Men. Jay Davidson for The Crying Game, and David Paymer as Mr. Saturday Night. Would you have changed the winner for that award?
It's one more time. I caught what was the first two again?
The first two were Gene Hackman for Unforgiven as
Mhm.
Little Bill.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson for A Few Good Men
Okay.
as Colonel Jessup. Jay Davidson from The Crying Game, and David Paymer for Mr. Saturday Night.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you say David Paymer won, right?
No, Hackman won for Unforgiven.
Oh, no, I wouldn't change that. Hackman should have won.
Yeah, I just think Glengarry and Ross is a little better, but I go either way.
It's back though again. Am I giving it to Hackman for the same reason that they're giving it to Pacino? Like again, where is like again.
But Hackman won an Oscar for Popeye Joe.
To me, is Pacino's performance do you think he's the best in Glenn Ross?
I would say he kind of steals the show.
Oh.
That film. I love Glengarry Ross, but I mean I love John Lemon too, but I think he kind of steals the show, and that's like his out of character. Him and to be honest with you, I think Alec Baldwin does well as well, but I think Pacino outshines him a little bit. But that's just my thoughts. But I'm glad we can at least say that Downey should have won for.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
It's a movie that, again, I'll say it again, if you get a chance, watch Chaplin. Um, I've talked about it with a couple buddies. It's just a movie that, again, should get a little bit more praise than it gets.
Apparently, Baloney wanted you to get me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
So that's our little break off from the Best Picture. We're gonna go right back to it now with the 2014 Best Picture Award. These are from the 2000.
They messed
What?
that up.
Oh,
Where am I?
2013. I'm sorry, 2013. You're right.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry, I read the wrong thing.
No, you're okay.
2013 show, which were 2012 films. The winner of that year was Argo by Grant Heslov, Ben Affleck, George Clooney as the producers. Amor by Margaret Menegatz, Stephen Aarons, Viet Hendushka. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. And Michael Katz. Beast of the Southern Wind by Dan Javey, Josh Penn, and Michael Gottwood. Django Unchained by Stacey Shearer, Reginald Hudlin, Pilar Saban as the producers. Les Miserables, Tim Bevan, Eric Filner, Deborah Hayward, and Cameron McIntosh. The Life of Pi, Gil Netter, Ang Lee, and David Warmack. Lincoln by Steven Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy. Silver Linings Playbook by Donna Gilgliotti, Bruce Cowan, and Jonathan Gordon. And Zero Dark 30 by Mark Bowl, Catherine Bigelow, and Megan Ellison. So our adult version, Argo. The winner was Argo this year. Tone, what do you think about this year's result?
I like this year. This year, I could see Argo being a victor for myself personally. It was one of my favorites of the year. Again, though, I also like the Django Unchained. I like Silver Linings Playbook. I like a couple of these other movies. But this one, I'm not as upset that it got picked for Best Picture.
Yeah, this year I think it could have been between Argo and Silver Linings Playbook. Les Miserables was a good film. I think it kind of gets, because it's a musical, it kind of got a little bit held down a little bit for a Best Picture, but I liked Silver Linings Playbook a lot. But yeah, Argo, I was fine with it winning. You know, I'm happy for my man George Clooney to get an Oscar. So haven't
Yeah,
watched.
that's true.
You still haven't watched Lincoln. Sam says he still hasn't watched Lincoln, but I think I can guess the ending. Sam says Silver Lining Playbook was meh. To each its own. Life of Pi messed me up. Good movie. It's a very good movie. It's very visually nice too.
Very nice. Very nice looking.
So there's not really much pushback on that one. I would go with Argo. It was a good film. So
The fact that you like me right now. You like.
That's from Sally Field when she won her Best Actress nomination there.
You really like me.
You like me. You really like me.
So moving along, we're going to go to 2014 show for 2013 films. The winner that year was 12 Years a Slave, produced by Brad Pitt, Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, Steve McQueen, and Anthony Katagas. Nominees that year were American Hustle by Charles Roven, Richard Suckle, Megan Ellison, and Jonathan Gordon. Captain Phillips by Scott Rudin, Dana Brutetti, and Michael Del Luca. The Dallas Buyers Club by Robbie Brenner and Rachel Winter. Gravity by Alfonso Cuarón and David Heyman. Her by Megan Ellison, Spike Jonze, and Vincent Lande. Nebraska by Albert Berger and Ron Zura. Philomania, I think that's how you say it.
Yep.
By Gabriel Tana, Steve Coogan, and Tracy Stewart. And The Wolf of Wall Street by Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Joey McFarlane, and Emma Tingler Koskov. So we said that 12 Years a Slave won that year. What do you think of the result?
I like the movie. The only mistake I remember making is like me and Katie went to like a 10:45 showing of a 2.5 hour movie, and I think, that wasn't the one I should have done on a Saturday night, but not a bad movie. It wouldn't be my pick for Best Picture. Dallas Buyers Club, American Hustle, Wolf of Wall Street, even the concept of Her. Philomenia is not a bad movie. It wouldn't have been a Best Picture for me. Gravity, I thought, was just I love the director too, but just for me, a little overrated. Captain Phillips.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I don't know about that one. But again, I like Bruce Dern in Nebraska. I probably would roll with as a best picture Dallas Buyers Club. But what do you think?
Richard Suckle doesn't go by Dick. Wonder why. Me personally, 12 Years a Slave was a good film. I thought it was very good. Dallas Buyers Club for me. I liked American Hustle. I love Christian Bale. I think Dallas Buyers Club was better. Nebraska, I wish Bruce Dern would have won the Oscar for it.
Mhm.
I thought he was very, very good in it. And then The Wolf of Wall Street was a good film as well. I just think to me, I personally would have went with Dallas Buyers Club over 12 Years a Slave. But 12 Years a Slave was a very good film as well. So I can't really argue with you on that one.
I agree. Definitely agree.
So moving along, we're going to the 2015 show for the 2014 films. The winner that year was Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance by Alejandro G. Iratuwu, I'm sorry, John Lesher and James W. Scotch Doppel. These names are kind of hard, man.
They are. They are hard.
American Sniper by Clint Eastwood, Robert Lorenz, Andrew Lazar, Bradley Cooper, and Peter Morgan. Boyhood by Richard Linklater and Catherine Sutherland. The Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson, Scott Rudin, Stephen Rails, and Jeremy Dawson. The Imitation Game by Nora Grisman, Ido Ostrowski, and Teddy Schwartzman. Selma by Christian Coulson, Oprah Winfrey, Dee Gardner, and Jeremy Kleiner. The Theory of Everything, Tim Bevan by Eric Follner, Lisa Bruce, and Anthony McCartan. And Whiplash by Jason Blum, Helen Easterbrook, and David Lancaster. Tone, we know that Birdman won. Who do you think should have won this one?
Ooh.
It's because Michael Keaton, baloney.
I mean, I really like Birdman a lot, but I really like Whiplash a lot, and I really like Grand Budapest Hotel a lot. I could see why Birdman won. It's what it is. American Sniper was fine. That's about what I would say. It is what it is. Boyhood is, again, I don't know. I would honestly probably, I'd like to give it to the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I would have given it to them too.
Are you not a Birdman fan?
I love Birdman, but
Okay.
I think Grand Budapest Hotel was better. I think Wes Anderson, that's a great film.
It is.
Film that I think I got robbed that year.
It did.
I wish again, just for my own, I wanted Keaton to win the Oscar because I thought it was great. But Grand Budapest Hotel was very good. Whiplash is a great film. I thought that was very good. Selma was a good film. Birdman, one of my favorites, but yeah, I just don't think against Budapest Hotel, it should have came in second. But I liked Budapest Hotel.
Definitely.
Whiplash, Budapest Hotel, Imitation Game were better than Birdman, in my opinion. Yeah, I can see that. Whiplash is a very good film too. I just think Budapest Hotel was better. But we agreed on that one, which is kind of funny. Next, we're going to go to one of my picks. We're going to the 1995 Best Actor Award. The winner that year was Tom Hanks for Forrest Gump. The nominees were Morgan Freeman for The Shawshank Redemption, Nigel Hawthorne for The Madness of King George, Paul Newman for Nobody's Fool, and John Travolta for Pulp Fiction. This year, I think I love Tom Hanks. I think he's a great and phenomenal actor. I think Tom Hanks' best role was in Philadelphia. He was very good in Forrest Gump. I just think that Morgan Freeman should have won for The Shawshank Redemption. And unfortunately, the film didn't get as much praise until it was released more to the public for VHS for them to give that love. And I think it was really a miss shot there. I thought Travolta was great in Pulp Fiction. I thought Newman was great in Nobody's Fool. And The Madness of King George, I can't remember it too well. But from between Hanks and the Freeman, I think Freeman should have won. I thought he was phenomenal in that film as a lead. What say you?
Oh, for me, let's see here. And look at Morgan's clapping for him right there. He's not upset because Tom won if you are watching the live version. But again, I mean, this is kind of like back to the Pacino argument again. Morgan Freeman plays Morgan the same role in Seven. I like Morgan. I'm a big Morgan Freeman fan, but like the only movie I think he plays a little different is like Outbreak because he's a little shady, but he's generally just a nice guy in the role. In Shawshank Redemption, I mean, does he really seem like somebody who's like? I mean, he's just so nice in the movie, and he
Oh, he's
could've
not
won.
nice. He's a criminal, but
But that's
yeah,
the thing. But is he though? Like in the movie, what criminal activities does he do in the movie?
he smuggles in the things for the other criminals. He also bets on fishes. I think his narration was better.
I mean, if you watch enough movies that take place in prison, he doesn't come across as somebody who you're not going to want to cross. He seems like somebody, like he
well,
said, I'm
also
a guy
it's
who's going to get you things. I'm your
I
friend.
mean, if you really want to go
And then
that
Tom
route, you
Hanks,
can't really say
Tom Hanks,
Tom
back to
Hanks.
Tom Hanks, bosom buddies, bachelor party, splash. He's coming from that territory to do something with Zemeckis. It's different, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying if you're talking about prison, if I'm talking about history movies, I'm not gonna automatically think of a character like Forrest Gump, who's also based off a book.
But wait a minute.
To be a general,
You said we do things about feelings around here, and Forrest Gump is a lot more, I think. People sometimes, not all the time, but
I don't believe in reform. What are you talking about? I wanted Freeman to win. Somebody tell me I don't believe in reform. Baloney. I said I wanted Morgan Freeman to win.
Oh, the comments are great. No, the thing about it is you're talking about a movie that you're talking about which movie do I love a whole lot more. Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies of all time. Forrest Gump doesn't even probably crack my top 60. So I'm playing devil's advocate here just because of the actor who Tom Hanks is.
Oh, I think he's a phenomenal actor. I just don't think he should have won that year.
But what else? I mean, but like, did he? Off the top of my head, he didn't win for Philadelphia, did he?
Yeah, he won. He was back to back.
Okay, then that's where I think
I think his Philadelphia was his best performance of his career. To be honest,
okay, then okay. You know what? Tonight, folks, I'm going to give in a little bit. We're going to give it to Morgan Freeman. Honestly, you know what? I know the role isn't something Travolta's role. Being again.
I think
we're looking for actors who are doing things that were different out of the box at the time. That's what he did. I don't know. Give it to him.
For Pulp Fiction, I think what hinders him a little bit is I think like for his role, I think Samuel should have got the nod for best actor because I think he was a little bit more powerful. So it could have gone either way for them too, in terms of the nominee for best actor. But that film, Pulp Fiction, rejuvenized his career. Like,
but I think that's why they gave him the nom was because the role was so good, it jump started his career. Where you're right, Samuel's performance I think is a lot better in the movie than John Travolta.
So, but yeah, I mean, you can stick with Hanks. It's okay. I just think that without Forrest Gump, he isn't in Toy Story. Still don't check the timeline. I mean, true. I love Tom Hanks.
You know what the thing about it is before, honestly, I'll be honest with you, if I would have really looked in and thought about the Philadelphia thing before the debate, I wouldn't have given it to him. I don't think I'm not a big believer in like, I don't think, I don't know, winning back to back.
It depends on who it is.
I mean,
but yeah, I mean, I would have given it to Freeman. You would stick with the Hanks, it's fine. But like, have you seen The Madness of King George? I can't remember if I saw it or not, to be honest with you.
If I did, it's been a long time. A long time.
So Tony, we have a comment here from Baloney, and he wants to know what you thought about Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Oh, Jenny, she's just such an awful. But she looks like she could be fun on like a Saturday night if you were free, like 20 years before the end of the movie. I don't know. She's again.
So
reveled as one of the worst people on screen history.
And Baloney gave the eyes.
I like that.
Jenny from the Block. So there's an ongoing gag that me and Aloha Mr. Hand and Matt Nominson, King Nam, and his wife, Amy, have going. Me and Amy think that Jenny is probably the worst character in film compared to Rose from Titanic. Pete and Nam say it's Rose because she could have let Jack on the door. But in our defense, we think Jenny just ruined Forrest's life, his whole life. And then eventually, in the end, it's implicated, although this has now been pushed back, is that she gave him HIV, possibly. Uh, with her illness. There's still debate on whether she did or not. But what would you say? Who was the worst character, Jenny or Rose?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, it's gotta be Jenny. Um, I mean, Rose, I mean, I've watched this MythBusters where they tested the whole Rose thing. Um, yeah, I go with Jenny, definitely.
Thank you. Because yeah, we always argue. It's a fun little thing we go on, but we always find something new to put up. But yeah, I would say Jenny is definitely horrible. Jenny gave easy.
Easy.
Yeah, he gave Sam. Oh my god! If you guys listen to the podcast, watch the stream on YouTube. You'll see like some of the great comments we get from our people in here. So moving on, we're going on to now 2016. This film actually had pretty decent selections here. The winner that year was Spotlight by Michael Sugar, Stephen Godlin, Nicole Rockland, Bly Pagan, Faust as the producers. The nominees as well were The Big Short, Brad Pitt, Didi Gardner, and Jeremy Kleiner. Bridge of Spies, Steven Spielberg, Mark Platt, and Christine McCaskill Krager. Brooklyn by Fiona Dwyer and Amanda Posey. Mad Max Fury Road by Doug Mitchell and George Miller. The Martian by Simon Kinberg, Ridley Scott, Michael Schaefer, and Mark Hoffman. And then The Revenant by Aaron Micklin, Steve Goglin, Alejandro Giotto, I can't say it because my teeth, Barry Perrin, and Keith Redmond. The Room, not the Tommy Wiseau Room, but Ed Gein as a producer. So we have those other nominees with Spotlight winning. What would you think of this result?
Like Spotlight quite a lot. I wouldn't have given it to Spotlight, but I like it a lot. I like the movie quite a bit. I personally would have probably given it to The Revenant, but that's me, just because I'm what went into the filming of that movie and the way it looks. And again, the feeling, that's what I would go with. But The Big Short's really good too. Mad Max is great. Not the best. I'm not the favorite on The Martian or Bridge of Spies, but they're serviceable. The room I
Again,
the room I wish it was the other one. That would have been pretty cool.
Tommy Wiseau up there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hi,
Not
Mark.
a
Um, I think for this one, Spotlight was a very good film. I probably would have went more towards Revenant over a Spotlight. I really like Mad Max.
Max is good.
Um,
Well, then I don't have to ask you then in May when the new one comes out if we can go over this movie when that one comes out, because
yes,
you
for
love it
sure.
so much. It's
I'm a
a
big
really
fan
good
of all the
movie.
Mad. I even watched the Thunderdome,
Oh,
and it's not one of the best ones, but it's enjoyable.
I grew up in a Thunderdome house
Mhm.
where me and my dad had this joke about Master and Blaster and because they're in the movies or whatever. And just honestly, it's a fun movie to watch, man. They're
Oh, it's
fun.
totally 80s, man. It's like
They're
it's
fun. I
not
love it.
yeah, it's not horrible, but it's totally 80s. I like the
Movie,
first
that's
one.
what I want to get off here and watch now. That's what you make me want to do.
Thunderdome.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we both went with opposing to Spotlight. Revenant probably is a more general consensus for that one.
Mhm.
For that one. Sam says Martian, Mad Max, The Big Short is saw those. Mad Max wins. Sam's just going off the films he saw, which I think is great. So that's 2016 for 2015's nominees. Moving on to 2017's nominees for the previous year of 2016. We have the winner, Moonlight, by Adele Romanowski, Didi Gardner, and Jeremy Kleiner were the producers. Moonlight actually became the first film with an all-black cast and the first LGBT themed film to win Best Picture. Some history was done there. The nominees were Arrival by Sean Levy, Dan Levine, Aaron Ryder, and David Lindy. Fences by Scott Rudden, Denzel Washington, and Todd Black. Hacksaw Ridge by Bill Mechanic and David Permute. Hell or High Water by Carla Haken and Julie Yorn. Hidden Figures by Donna Gigliotti, Peter Sharon, Gino Topping, Pharrell Williams, and Theodore Melfi. La La Land by Fred Berger, Jordan Horowitz, and Mark Platt. Lion by Emil Sherman, Ian Caning, and Annie Fielder. Manchester by the Sea by Matt Damon, Kimberly Stewart, Chris Moore, Lauren Beck, and Kevin J. Walsh as the producers. So, Tone, this year is actually a more year in history of the Oscars because of what?
Picture. Moonlight. Best Picture.
There you go. A lot of people were upset because originally the announcement is it is La La Land, and everyone gets up on stage, and then it's not La La Land, it's Moonlight.
And that's where our famous picture of for the show that we have is used from is actually this part. This actually killed a lot of those conspiracy theories with the previous film we just reviewed for My Cousin Vinny when Marissa Tomei won. There was a lot of conspiracy theories saying that Marissa Tomei wasn't supposed to win, and they just read the name of the card and just gave it to her. Well, Warren Beatty read the name of La La Land because it was the incorrect card, and they came out and corrected it. I remember watching this live, and I was like, "Holy!" It was like, "What the hell is going on?" So it was kind of a anticlimactical win for Moonlight, but I thought, for me personally, I think Moonlight should have won. I thought it was a very powerful film. I really liked Hell or High Water, and I liked Fences. La La Land was a great film too. Manchester by the Sea was a good film, but I think, in my personal opinion, I really liked Moonlight. What about you?
Honestly, we're probably going to agree on this one too, just because of the overall theme of what you say, messages and takeaway. And honestly, this one, Moonlight, stuck with me when I was done watching it. Big fan of the actors who were in the movie. Really, really good job. Manchester by the Sea. For some unknown reason, I only seen like 2 movies by myself, and I went and seen that one by myself. Real depressing when I go see by yourself.
Yeah, what?
Really,
Yeah,
really, really bad idea. Like I walked out of the theater. I was like, "What did I do here? This was really heavy." But my favorite movie, proud of all of these, Hell or High Water. Like that movie a lot. Fences is good. Arrival, I think that's kind of like my Gravity this year, a little more overrated than in his catalog of movies. The Hacksaw Ridge, it's all right. Hidden Figures is a really good movie, a really inspiring movie. But again, in a crowded field like this, that's not going to be picked as Best Picture. But it's a good movie. And La La Land, again, I could have seen that being picked just because of as we talked about earlier, them just picking something because of it seems to be different. Like this would have been the artist pick this year because it's a musical and it's like set in the 50s. But I'm with you. I'm with Moonlight.
yeah. So that's another one we agree on. So we are agreeing in some aspects of here. Baloney comes out and says, "I saw a bunch of these. Honestly, none of these stand out. Maybe Manchester by the Sea."
It's
Yeah,
a good
so
movie.
it's a very good movie. Casey Affleck actually won the Oscar for that one.
He did.
So moving on to 2018 for 2017 films, we have the winner, The Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro and James J. Miles Dale. Nominees were Call Me by Your Name, Peter Spears, Luca Guadagnino, Emil George, and Marco Morabito. Darkest Hour by Tim Bevan, Eric Fellner, Lisa Bruce, Anthony McCartan, and Douglas Urbanski. Dunkirk by Emma Thomas and Christopher Nolan. Get Out by Sean McKittrick, Jason Blum, Edward H. Him, and Jordan Peele. That film actually won the Spirit Award that year. Lady Bird by Scott Rudin, Ellie Bush, and Evelyn O'Neill. And Phantom Thread by Joanne Seller, Paul Thomas Anderson, Megan Ellison, and Danielle Lupi. That's actually the last film that our good friend Daniel David Lewis portrayed. That was his last acting role. The Post by Amy Pascal, Steven Spielberg, and Christy Makosko Carriger. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Graham Brobrent, Pete Crescendon, and Martin McDonough. Man, I really picked some great names to go through with these. So those are the nominees: the Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, and Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, with the winner being The Shape of Water. What do you think of this one, Tone?
Um, big, again, a big fan of a lot of these movies. I wouldn't have went with Shape of Water though. Um, I would have went with Three Billboards probably.
Yeah, I know I'm frozen, but is my audio coming through okay?
Yeah, you're all right. You sound great.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I would have went with Three Billboards for this one. Shape of Water was a very good film. I love Guillermo del Toro. To be honest with you, when I was reviewing this, I probably might have went with Get Out.
Get Out again. A really, really good movie. It would have been nice for that to win. It would have been nice for a horror movie to win Best Picture. It would have set a precedent. I would have liked that. That'd been cool.
For sure, for sure. Uh, so with that, we are going to go to my picks next.
All right, let's get that.
But before that, let me actually see if I can.
If you refresh it, maybe.
Yeah, let me refresh and stay back. So, as I say, work the crowd for a second, man.
Sounds good. So again, the Oscars are something that are definitely an experience, experience that has happened for, as stated at the beginning, for a long, long time. And this year is no exception. Next week, when we get back into doing next week's, there's so many movies this year that are being talked about, and they're being, of course, Oppenheimer is one of them. Barbie is another one, and these are just some of the movies that next week, when we dig into a little bit more what it is that we will be going through, which is the 2024 movies. Here we have Sam saying he hasn't seen any of these movies yet, and I don't know, I don't believe you. I think you have seen Oppenheimer, possibly, but it's going to be a great show next week, because honestly, these movies are just as good as these movies we're talking about tonight. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, thank you, Tony. I'm
No
back.
problem.
Am I coming through okay?
You sound great.
Cool. So, sorry about that.
You're good.
So now we're gonna go to we just did that pick, so we're gonna go to another one of my outside of the picks, and this one I think is I know Mr. Hand is very, very passionate about this one, and I am as well. So it's the 1999 Best Picture Award. The winner that year was Shakespeare in Love, David Parif, Donna Giuliotti, Harvey Weinstein, Edward Zwick, and Mark Norman. The nominees were Elizabeth by Alison Owen, Eric Flynner, Tim Benven, Life is Beautiful by Elda Ferrari, Gianna Luigi Prasci, Saving Private Ryan by Steven Spielberg, Ian Bruce, Mark Goldern, and Gary Levinson, and The Thin Red Line by Robert Michael Gleisler, John Rebideau, and Grant Hill. So with that, Tony, I think the winner this year was complete BS in terms of Shakespeare in Love. This was a giant political ploy by Harvey Weinstein and his company to get the film pushed to be the best picture. I don't think it's anywhere near to be best picture. I personally think Saving Private Ryan should have won. Spielberg, I love Spielberg's films. I think Spielberg is a great director, and I think probably Saving Private Ryan is probably one of his best films he's ever done. I think it was a perfect war movie. I think that Tom Hanks should have won the Oscar for Saving Private Ryan. And I think it was a way 10 times better film than Shakespeare in Love. What about you?
I have to show you this dated video here really quick, because this is hilarious.
For Mark Norman, who also won tonight for original screenplay.
Just watching like Gwyneth Paltrow's excitement to see Harvey Weinstein and seeing this victory of what you saying is a sham, and I am 100% on board. It's a garbage pick. I don't know. I don't like the movie very much, and honestly, I don't like a lot of these movies. Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, The Thin Red Line's pretty good. Definitely Saving Private Ryan is the best of the bunch, And ironically, you have found the other movie that I saw by myself. Um, my mom had taken my two little sisters to go see a movie, and I wasn't going to go see the kids' movie. So I was like, can I go see another movie by myself? And I was like, I'll see Saving Private Ryan. What was hilarious was the kids' movie was like an hour and a half, and this was 3 hours. So she had to wait an hour and 30 minutes for me to come out of
Oh
this
my
movie. It was
goodness.
great. But again, I'm with you. I would definitely have went with Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know, just like he won for Life is Beautiful.
He did. He did.
And he's more of a comedic actor, but he did a great job in his
He did.
film.
He did.
But yeah, I think Saving Private Ryan just should have won. There was, like, looking at the film, like, even when I was making up this list, I'm like, what win kind of upsets me,
Mhm.
and then knowing about the person that that Harvey Weinstein turned out to be,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think even when I remember watching this, I'm like, why the hell didn't Saving Private Ryan win? Because the other movies weren't that great. Thin Red Line is probably the best movie, I guess, besides it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would have to agree.
And I think it kind of plays back to when we did the history of how, you know, studio execs had their influence over the judges, and I don't think that should be happening, in my
No,
opinion.
not at all.
So that's my 1999 debacle. Saving Private Ryan should have won. It's a winner in my book, but yeah, unfortunate it didn't win. We're gonna move on now to the best pictures again with the 2019 awards for the 2018 films. The winner that year was Green Book by Jim Burke, Charles B. Wessler, Ryan Curie, Peter Farrelly, and Nick Vallelonga. The nominees were Black Panther by Kevin Feige. Is it Feige or Feig? I can't remember.
I think it's figs. We'll call it whatever.
Figgy Fig.
Yeah.
Black Klansman by Sean McKittrick, Jason Blum, Raymond Mansfield, Jordan Peele, and Spike Lee. Bohemian Rhapsody by Graham King. The Favorite by CeCe Dempsey, Ed Gein, Lee Magaday, and Yoris Lathminos. Roma by Gabriel Rodriguez. Alphonse Cuarón were the producers for that. A Star is Born by Bill Gerber, Bradley Cooper, and Lynette Howell Taylor. And Vice for D.D. Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Adam McKay, and Kevin Messick. And then, one thing about this was, about these nominees, even before getting to it, was If Beale Street Could Talk wasn't even nominated, which kind of surprised me. It won the Spirit Award that year, and it's a pretty good film. Have you ever seen Beale Street?
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good film. I think it should have been nominated. So the winner that year was Green Book. One of the things that sticks out to me about when it won, I remember them interviewing Spike Lee, and he said he was interviewed by some British reporters, and they said what he thought of the film. And he said it wasn't my cup of tea. What do you think, Tony? Did you think it should have won?
No, I do not. I don't even think it should. I don't even know if it should even be in this list. I don't know. I don't really think Roma should be on the list either. That movie, I think, was, again, we used to use this term too artsy fartsy. I'm a huge fan of Black Klansman. If I had like a midnight movie theater, I would put that back to back with even Goodfellas, and I think it could play really well. I think it's a great movie, greatly acted. Everyone from Adam Driver does a great job too, of course. John David Washington. Bohemian Rhapsody is a good movie. But I don't know if that one it would be Best Picture. Vice is a really, really good movie that I could see being a Best Picture nominee in like those 5 movie years from a long time ago. But personally, I would roll Black Klansman. That's me.
Yeah. So Sam's cracking me up in the comments by saying Carmine Lupertazzi, sir, Senior, was there, and Carmine Lupertazzi is played by Tony Lip, who is the Green Book is based off. And then he quoted one of his lines saying, "What? I didn't say nothing." For you Soprano fans out there, that's when he calls Tony to arrange the hit on Johnny Sack. Sam, I love the fact he loves Sopranos, man. I'm a huge
Sopranos. Great
Yeah.
show.
Me personally, I think Black Klansman should have won. I thought it was a better film. I like The Star is Born. I thought The Star is Born was good, and it had a lot of Oscar buzz behind it. I'm glad Bradley Cooper got that little bump, for his film. Vice, I thought was very good. Green Book, I thought was an okay film. I don't think it should have won for Best Picture. I think again
No.
they're trying to go with a message for that film, and it kind of fell flat because it was kind of over dramatized. And I know it got criticized for the way it was, but yeah, Roma. I never seen Roma, man. I couldn't tell you about it.
It's
Uh,
very like a long camera shots, not a lot of
mhm.
dialogue, upside down. I mean, it's very visually, but I didn't take away really a message from it. But again,
Mhm.
maybe I was in I always like to say sometimes maybe I need to give it a second chance. I wasn't in the right mood that day.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out. I just never
Yeah,
seen it. When
yeah.
I was doing the list, I'm like, I mean, I couldn't watch it because I had so much other stuff going on. But
Oh, yeah, it's not. Yeah,
I'll definitely
I
check it
wouldn't
out.
have said, "Oh, you need to watch this movie." But again, the director, um, this is his follow up from Gravity, which I said earlier was, a little bit what I thought was a little overrated. But again, Roma, um, this is sometimes, because again, he also did Children of Men, which is a really good movie.
Very good movie. Good book too.
And he also did The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is my favorite Harry Potter of all those movies. And I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan, but he's a good director.
Potter.
And yes, very, very good director. And again, but I'm with you. We're going Black Klansman, right?
Yeah, Carmen Lupatazzi, man.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
We gotta get that in for Brian at least once a show.
That's good.
Yeah, Black Klansman I think was a better film in my opinion. I want to check out Roma now though to see. I really liked Bale's performance in Vice as George Bush. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was awesome. A lot of those performances, Sam Rockwell, a lot of
Yeah,
really
and
good
Sam Rockwell
performances.
was no, he was Cheney and Sam Rockwell was Bush,
Yes,
which was
great
funny.
job. Great job.
Yeah, so two great actors. The next year we're going to 2020 for the 2019 films. The winner that year was Parasite. Kwak Sinao and Boog Joon-ho were the producers. Parasite became the first non-English film to win Best Picture. It was also the sixth film nominated for both Best Picture and Best International Feature in the same year. Furthermore, its 4 wins tied with Fanny and Alexander and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as the most awarded foreign language film in Academy Awards history. The nominees were Ford versus Ferrari, Peter Sherman, General Topping, and James Mangold. The Irishman, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Jane Rosenthal, and Emma Tingler-Koskov. Jojo Rabbit by Carthel Neal, Taiki Waititi, I always say his name incorrectly, Chelsea Winstanley, Joker by Todd Phillips, Bradley Cooper, Emma Tingler-Koskov, and Little Women by Amy Pascal, Marriage Story by Noah Baumbach and David Hyman, 1917 by Sam Mendes, Pippa Harris, Jane Ann Tinerigan, Kaloum McGull, and the final film was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by David Hyman, Shannon McIntosh, and Quentin Tarantino as the producers. For that film, do you think Parasite should have won?
No, I don't. I don't think it should have won. But again, that isn't my wheelhouse of the favorite type of movies that I usually go for. I'm gonna be going for 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Even honestly, Jojo Rabbit. I also though I like Ford versus Ferrari, but I think it's just again in a year that's weighed down. What's your opinions on The Irishman?
I like The Irishman. I think it was a good film. It was long, but it was good. It was vintage, in the words of Michael Cole, if you're a wrestling fan, it was vintage Scorsese. It was nice to see all three. I think Al Pacino actually is probably one of his better acting roles later. Al kind of got into the screaming, and he screams perfectly in this film. I thought The Irishman was a very good film. Best Picture, I don't think it should have won for Best Picture, but it was good.
So, what are you going with?
So I actually like Parasite. I thought Parasite was something different. It should have won. The one that I would put it up against is Jojo Rabbit.
No.
Jojo Rabbit was a very good film. So either way, Parasite or Jojo Rabbit would have won. I would have been happy with it. But I wasn't too upset that Parasite won. I thought it was a good
I gotta
film.
give it another chance. I mean, honestly, this is one would fall into my category of
Mhm.
it's one even tomorrow. I have to sit down and give more of a another chance, because I just hear so many great things about it, and I honestly right now I couldn't even write you a review on it, because I watched it like in 2019, and I don't watch so many movies since then. So I got to give it another chance.
Sam said he saw 1917, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He gave it to 1917, and he loves Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 1917 was a very good film too. But yeah, I would give it to Parasite or Jojo Rabbit.
I
But
like 1917's one camera shot, the way it's like looks like one giant shot, like it doesn't like.
and he's running.
Yes, yeah.
And the part where the guy when he falls down, that was unscripted. He did it naturally and got up.
Cool.
They
Very
left
cool.
it in. So 2005 is my next pick for going back in the vault to argue here for the best actor award here. The winner that year was Jamie Foxx for Ray. The nominees were Don Cheadle for Hotel Rwanda, Johnny Depp for Finding Neverland, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Aviator, Clint Eastwood for $1 Million Baby. Now, my problem isn't so much with the winner. I thought Jamie Foxx was very good in Ray. I personally would have went with Don Cheadle for Hotel Rwanda that year. My issue is that there was a film called Sideways that was released in 2004 that was nominated for a Golden Globe and won the Spirit Award for Best Actor for one Paul Giamatti, and he wasn't even nominated. And I love Johnny Depp, but I think he should have been nominated over Finding Neverland. What do you think, Tom?
You know what? I like you. And I like what you just said right there, because honestly, I agree with everything that you said. I mean, I would have went with Jamie Foxx, but thinking outside of the box, I did not think of that. When you sent me this, I wasn't even thinking of the Paul Giamatti thing. And I love Sideways. It's one of my favorites. I'll never forget me and a buddy at Ball State leaving the movie theater and going to buy jugs of Carlo Rossi and just drinking wine. Really, really, really great. Sam is not wrong. Michael Shannon is Michael Shannon should have been nominated for a Best Actor for The Night Before. But that being said, I don't know why Giamatti wasn't, because I would even have put Giamatti in this over DiCaprio, even maybe. I know why DiCaprio's being nominated, but or even Clint. I mean, I love Clint. I love $1 Million Baby. I left that movie theater seeing that movie thinking it was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I haven't seen it though in a long time. That's when I should.
Depressing.
It is. It is. Oh, it's very depressing. Yes.
So I would have went probably. Yeah, I think Jamie Foxx winning for Ray was fine, but I like Don Cheadle and Hotel Rwanda. But like you said, like Johnny Depp for Finding Neverland, I love Johnny Depp, but Paul Giamatti was just so much better in Sideways. And I remember when he was snubbed, it was kind of it didn't get as much buzz as when DiCaprio was snubbed for Titanic, but it got enough buzz when people were like, how can you just overlook
a performance
like that? And it was like, it wasn't just it was like a whole blend of emotion that year for him, because it was comedic. It was also very passionate and kind of like somber, and you kind of felt like his character was so good. I don't know if he would have won over Ray, but it was a more powerful performance, I think, than Finding Neverland.
The thing about Back to Ray and Jamie Foxx is again, you're taking a guy like Tom Hanks, who was in, he was on in Living Color, you know what I mean? And to make, you know how much I love music, and honestly, that movie, again, he was Ray, and he played. I'm pretty almost positive he played all of the music and the piano, and you would learn. And so, like, it's that old, which is, I hope down the road we're going to do more of these shows when the Oscars come up, because we can look back more into the past, where I think this is a role that harkens back to like the 70s of getting really deep into the role and having to learn this craft like a Daniel Day-Lewis. And, but again, I would like Paul Giamatti to be a part of this too, and he wasn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my little throwback there, and we'll continue on to our last three. So we're gonna go with 2021. The winner was Nomadland, which is Frances McDormand, Peter Spears, Molly Asher, Dana Janvey, and Chloe Zhao. The nominees that year were The Father by David Parrott, Jean Louis Levy, Philip Carasoni, Judas and the Black Messiah, Shaka King, Charles D. King and Ryan Coogler, Menk, Gene Chafin, Eric Roth, Douglas Urbanski as the producers for that, Minari, Christina O, Promising Young Woman, Ben Browning, Ashley Fox, Emerald Fennell, and Josie McNamara, The Sound of Metal, Burt Hamlick, and Sasha Ben Horashi. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. And The Trial of the Chicago Seven, Mark Platt and Stuart Besser. Sam, you know what? When you said I did not see any of these films, I remember watching these after the show. Um, No Man Land was probably the last film I saw, and that was the one that won for Oscar. What do you think of these films, Tony?
Again, and you know how much I love movies. Again, to me, it's another year that's a down year. The Father, to me, the only movies to me that stick out that I really, really enjoy are Judas and the Black Messiah. That's the second movie that came out on HBO when during the pandemic, where they were going to release a movie a month. The first one was the Denzel, Jared Leto, Rami Malek movie. This was the second one. And honestly, this is a really, really good movie. Another really just awesome movie. The other one I really like is the what is that? The one with Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman. Awesome movie. Sound of Metal is really good too for a musical story. But besides that, all the rest of them, I didn't really enjoy when I first saw them.
I thought Mank was interesting because it's about one of the greatest films ever created in some people's opinion. Citizen Kane was writing the script on it, so I thought it was okay. No Man Land was it was okay. I would have went with it was very long. I would have went with Judas and the Black Messiah too. The Father I thought was good, but Judas and the Black Messiah I think is probably the better of all the films. Surprisingly, I didn't really like The Trial of the Chicago 7. I thought I would like it because it's Chicago based. It just wasn't. It didn't click for me.
It felt very television movie of the week for me. That's why I didn't really enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe I might have to get that one another try. But I didn't like it when I first saw it, so I don't know.
Do you remember Promising Young Woman at all?
I do. It was. I thought it was a very good film.
It's another one because her newest movie is. It didn't get any nominations, but it was that Saltburn that came out. And again, I like when female directors get, they're doing. It was an awesome movie to be nominated in this category, but again, to me, it was a down year.
Yeah. But I would have went with Black Judas and the Black Messiah, so I guess we can agree on that one too. But moving on to the 2022 Oscars with the 2021 films, Coda was the winner that year. Philip Roselette, Fabrice Gianfermi, and Patrick Watchberger were the producers. Coda became the first Best Picture winner to be distributed via a streaming platform, and the first one starring a primarily deaf cast. Its 3 nominations were the fewest for any Best Picture winner since 1932's Grand Hotel, and was the first big Best Picture winner without directing or editing filming nominations since the aforementioned film. Furthermore, it became the first without any nominations in the below-the-line category since 1980's Ordinary People. The other nominees were Belfast by Laura Berwick, Kenneth Branagh, Becca Kovacic, and Tamir Thomas. Don't Look Up by Adam McKay and Kevin Messick, Drive My Car by Terushi Yamamoto, Dune by Mary Parent, Denis Villeneuve, and Cale Boiter. King Richard by Tim White, Trevor White, and Will Smith, Licorice Pizza by Sarah Murphy, Adam Somner, and Paul Thomas Anderson, Nightmare Alley by Guillermo del Toro, James Maldeo, and Bradley Cooper, The Power of the Dog by Jane Chaplin, Tanya Seghatchain, I think that's her name, Emil Sherman, Ian Canning, and Roger Frapier, and then West Side Story by Steven Spielberg and Christy Makowsko-Krager. So those are the nominees. The winner was Coda. What do you think about this year?
I'm seeing a trend where, again, a lot of movies that I just don't like or / care for. Coda, though, was a good movie. Really awesome. The lead actor in the movie is on this newest season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Really hilarious. I mean, I could see why that one won, and I would go with that one. Dune is a great movie. The Power of the Dog, not really a fan of that one. Nightmare Alley was okay. West Side Story, big thumbs down for me on that one. Licorice Pizza. Sadly, as a P.T. Anderson fan, I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie. King Richard was good, but sadly, a slap heard around the world just took that one out of my, or that out of my sales. And Don't Look Up, I don't know. So honestly, because I just saw Dune 2 weeks ago again, and I was like, wow, this is so great. I want to say Dune, but I mean, honestly, out of all these, I mean, Coda's okay.
I liked Coda. I thought Coda was a very good film. Licorice Pizza, I remember discussing this with Aloha Mr. Han. He's a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and when he saw it, he told me, because he saw it before me, he's like, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Nightmare Alley, I really love the visuals of it. I love the story of it. I love Guillermo del Toro. I thought it was a good film. I actually really liked Power of the Dog. I think Benedict Cumberbatch should have gotten like a little more consideration for the Oscar. I thought he played a very good role. West Side Story was beautifully visually, but again, it was a retelling of a previous film.
I don't like that. In this category, as a musical, and then what you're doing is you're telling me the world's greatest director is going to put his name on it. Why isn't the world's greatest director making me something new? Make me a balloon clown. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I feel you, but
I get why people liked it.
I would have went with Coda. I do like Dune. King Richard, I thought was a good film. Even though I'm not the biggest Will Smith fan, but I think Coda deserves to win, so I would went with Coda.
All right.
Yeah. So on to our final year, the 2023 Oscars for the 2022 Oscar films. Films that were nominated. Everything All at Once was the winner. Daniel Kwan, Daniel Schneider, and Jonathan Wang. The nominees were All Quiet on the Western Front by Martel Gournette, Avatar, The Way of the Water, James Cameron, John Landau, The Banshees of Inisherin, Graham Bombert, Pete Searniran, Martin McDowell, Elvis by Baz Luhrmann, Catherine Martin, Gail Berman, Patrick McCormick, and Schuyler Weiss, The Fabelmans by Christine McCaskill-Kiger, Steven Spielberg, Tony Kushner, Tar by Todd Field, Alexander Mitchell, Scott Lambert, Top Gun Maverick by Tom Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie, David Kelson, Jerry Bruckheimer, Triangle of Sadness by Eric Hemmerdorff and Philip Bober, and Women Talking by D.D. Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Francis McDormand. Man, yeah, I should have read these names like over and over again, but
well, it's tough. I've been there 1,000 times. It's not easy, these names.
Yeah. So the winner was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Sam says, spoiler alert, I didn't see any of these films. Saw Elvis on a cruise and fell asleep. What do you think about that winning the Oscar this year?
I thought it was a good movie. A lot of people seem to make it seem like it was the second coming of Godfather. I didn't think it was that good. But I could see why it won here. I mean, I'm not going to make an argument of why it won. I mean, I like the Banshees of Inisherin more, but I mean, I'm going to go with the, I could see why it won. How about you?
Same. I think Everything All at Once, Everywhere All at Once was a great film. I thought it was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm a huge martial arts fan. I'm a huge fan of Asian cinema. So I do watch a lot of that. And I think it kind of reminded me a lot of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon when that film was released and shown to American audiences. But this is more of had more of American or English dialogue in it. And it, it was very powerful. I thought it was very good. Multiverse, which was kind of funny. It was comedic. I thought it was very good. I think The Banshees was probably a close second for me. So I had no problem with this winning. I thought Tar was a very good film too that didn't get enough consideration.
Tar was really good. I also liked a lot. And as a war movie, All Quiet on the Western Front, which is another remake on Netflix, it wasn't a bad movie. And Elvis, um, what's hilarious is earlier we were talking about how much Tom Hanks should have maybe possibly won for Forrest Gump. This role is probably one of Tom Hanks's worst roles that I've ever seen. He almost just takes this movie out of the theater at being that bad because of his performance. Because I don't even know what he's doing. But that being said, um, you know, Austin Butler does an okay job. Um, Top Gun, Maverick, good good time, really, really good box office.
Surprising.
Fablemans,
It wasn't for me.
I think what it is again, there was a movie, it came out, I believe this same year. I'm gonna look it up right here. But it's just a little too I don't want to use the term vanilla to me. But it's just a little too like, oh, it's called Armageddon Time. It came out in 2022. It's a coming of age drama, just like this one. But it's about the director James Gray, who directed the movie Armageddon Time, and he's directed other movies like The Lost City of Z and We Own the Night and stuff like that. But
We Own the Night.
yes, what do you think of that movie?
I just saw it. It was okay.
Again, I put We Own the Night with like it's the same feeling I have for what your description of Hostiles was, where it has this promise. There's coolness to it, but at the end, it doesn't really come through as much as it should. But that being said, that's the Fablemans. Check out Armageddon Time instead. But I'm with you. Banshees of Inisherin is what I'm going with. I wouldn't even consider Avatar. I actually haven't even watched this Avatar. I can't do it, man.
No,
I can't do it. I just can't.
It's the way of the water.
I have zero. Like when you said earlier about like feelings and having a feeling, I have zero feeling of this anymore. And I honestly saw the first one 2 or 3 times in the theater. I think it's like Guns N' Roses. When you tell me you're coming out with a new album for 10 years and it never comes out, and then it comes out, I'm not really excited anymore.
Chinese democracy.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny you mentioned Elvis. My brother is a huge Elvis guy. He's a big he loves Elvis, everything Elvis in terms of like history. He's a big buff on that. He hated Tom Hanks' performance.
Well, you tell him. I think I got something around. The Charles has got something for him here. The big Elvis fan. I think I got something around here for him. But yeah, I mean, his performance is awful.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me. His performance kind of reminded me of that film, The Lady Killers, that he did as a comedy. We get a little quiet,
Really a good movie.
But yeah, I definitely would have went everywhere all at once or Banshees for this one.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too upset about it. And with that, we're gonna go into my final pick. With this long episode, we're gonna go with the 2023 Best Supporting Actress Award, which coincides with this year's we just went through for Best Picture. Just a little history throughout the 76 years, accounting for ties and repeat winners. The award has been presented to a total of 76 Best Supporting Actresses, awards to 74 actresses. So 74 actresses have won it. Winners of this Academy Award of Merit currently receive the Oscar statue, but previously they received a plaque. So after 1943, they started getting the Oscar. The first recipient of the award was Gail Sondergaard for her film An Anthony Adverse. Until the 8th Academy Award in 1935, they were intended to include all actresses. So all actresses with either the lead or supporting, and then they actually evened that out later, which thank God they did, because it would be even more confusing. This is crazy how the awards were just finding their way through things in the 20s and 30s. But we have what we have today now, thankfully. The winner that year was Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. The nominees were Angela Bassett for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for Banshees of Inisherin, and Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I like the movie. I don't think she should have won Oscar for this. In my opinion, I think Stephanie Hsu should have won if they were going to give it to somebody from the film. I thought she played a much better role and was more impactful. Also, I think Hong Chau was actually very good in The Whale. Angela Bassett was also very good in Black Panther. So I think you could have gave it to any of the other nominees over Jamie Lee Curtis. I think this was just a career award for her this year. Unfortunately, because I do like Jamie Lee Curtis. What do you think, Tone?
I'm with you. I agree with you. Again, I think and when you sent this to me, I was like, the man who loves Halloween is saying putting Jamie Lee Curtis, but I would go with probably Angela Bassett. But honestly, I'm picking Angela Bassett because I like her and what's love got to do with it? I mean, I like it, but like, is that why Jamie Lee Curtis? But Jamie Lee Curtis has never been known as like a Academy Award winning type of actress. So like, it's an odd performance for her to win it for because it's a good performance, but Hong Chau probably should have won. Or Stephanie Hsu should have won. But I just this one is again up in the air for me, truthfully. I would have went probably though with Angela Bassett.
Yeah, I thought Hong Chau should have won because The Whale or Stephanie Hsu. If they were gonna pick somebody from the same film, I would have went with her because I thought she was a better performance. Carrie Condon actually was really good in The Banshees as well. But yeah, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's kind of funny when she won. She's like, "Shut up!" Like I said right away because she could not believe she won.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have given it to her. And Angela Bassett, they showed their picture of her being very upset when she lost.
Oh yeah, Mad Fate. That's the best. The classic is another one that was really, really mad. And I'll never forget my dad. He was like, F him, was like Bill Murray when he lost for Lost in Translation.
Mhm.
They do the camera on him and he just looks so angry. And my dad's like, you're lucky you got picked because like it's Bill Murray. But like sometimes, some people take this really seriously.
Yeah, so Sam says Angela Bassett was good, but the film was an Avatar ripoff and boring. So I tried to. I think we did a small mini review for what's watching for Black Panther 2. I've only seen it once. I tried it multiple times to start it, and I just couldn't get through it. Like it was just to me, it had nothing to do with the passing of the Panther actor. It was just more like the film just could not interest me. I tried to get into I just couldn't get into it.
I probably am a couple steps below you and Mr. Sam over here on the movie, but it's more of me just picking Angela Bassett because it's Angela Bassett, but not because of actually her performance.
Mhm.
But the movie again, yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
But so that's our big deep dive into the Best Picture awards and our Best Actor awards that I had problems with, and me and Tony argued because apparently I don't like to be people who reform according to Maloney. No, but in all seriousness, no, I know this was a longer episode, but this is a lot of information to get out. Went through a lot of years. Hopefully, you guys learned a little bit about the history of the Best Supporting Actress and a little bit about the Best Picture. And if you agreed with us on our picks or our choices of who we think should have won, let us know, in the comments on the YouTube page or even at the Show Pod on Twitters. So what do you think about this whole big thing of information we just went through, Tom?
Honestly, I think I was very, very excited. And in my head, when I played it through of what we were going to do through these topics, we did exactly what I wanted to do. We went through them. We each said our opinions or what we thought. And honestly, just like always, we pretty much line up right around 90%. The other 10%, we may find ourselves in a debate, but 90%, a lot of them, we were on the same page. And, the only thing I think we were a little heated was the Al Pacino debate, but that's what I love this show and doing the show with you for, is that we can get down and deep and get these opinions out. And I love it, man. So it was a great time.
I mean, I wasn't really it was more of a difference of opinion.
I like to call it heated, so people, when they look back and they say it wasn't heated, they could say, no, they were just talking,
Yeah. So that's for our Oscar show for this week. Next week, we will be doing something a little similar, but we're going to be doing it with the current Oscar winners. Mr. Burt, let me get into our little video here. Let's get to it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Coming soon.
Próximamente.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
This is for you, Sam.
Quasimodo predicted all this.
So what we got coming soon, Mr. Bert?
What we got coming up next week is we are going to be digging into this year's Oscars, which again is a very, very, very deep list. And honestly, it's a list that's exciting to talk about just because it seems like this year, just by us going through these last 3 years, this year seems a little bit different just by the size of some of these movies, the way people are talking about the movies. Really excited to dig into this year, things like Oppenheimer and Barbie and other awesome movies that have been released this year.
Yeah, it's a good one. I still gotta catch up on a couple of them, which I'll get done this week. I don't think it'll be as long as this show was because we went through a lot of years. It'll be a little shorter show. But it's gonna be fun. See if, and then we're gonna predict who we think is gonna win, and then we can report back and see who came out top for our choices. So looking forward to that one. Our final segment, as always, is the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week. The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
All right, here, folks. Tonight, I got something special out there. Is that I like in a lot of different movies. There's any movie that has what I would like to call a dance club scene. You could sign me up for it because generally it's really awesome. Earlier in the comments over here, our good man Sam was brought up a really awesome actor that I love, Michael Shannon. Here's a scene with him in a dance club. That is from the movie The Iceman, where again, that is Mr. Captain America, Chris Evans, dancing there on the dance floor. Personally, the reason I like these scenes is because I wish I could take a time machine and be in that club listening to the music and having a good time. But the way they are shot, also there's a scene in Black Mass where towards the end, he's standing up in the rafters staring and they're all down dancing and getting down, and Joel Edgerton's really getting into the dancing, but they keep looking back up at him and he's got this serious face. I just love that. I love the way the music is placed in these scenes, and really big fan of that.
Both good films.
Yeah.
Like Iceman. Black Mass, like I said, I love Johnny Depp. I think that's probably one of his better roles.
It is, especially during the time period of him not coming out with so many good roles. This one kind of it's on HBO now, and last week I put it on again. Big, huge Joel Edgerton fan, and he does I love his role in this movie because it's so he's so stupid and under the cuff, but his performance of it is just really, really great. Bacon's great, and it's a good movie.
Yes, sir. So that's our show for this week. Great picks, Tone. Be sure to check out the Hookup on Music. Tony did a great show this week going through the Crow soundtrack. Also counting crows as well. Some good stuff. I liked it. I'm a big fan of it.
It was cool because coming up down the pipe, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but when we hit that movie, we can, because it's another thing that we could spend hours talking on, that they can kind of go back and piece together that episode with our episode and at the show and learn a whole lot more about the Crow.
Mordecai is a classic, Sam.
It's not more.
But yeah, check out the Hookup on Music with Tony. He does a great job every Wednesday live now at 7 p.m. And have you announced your guest for this week, Tony?
I did at the end of the show, but let me announce it again here. At this Wednesday at 7 p.m., we are going to have Mr. Terezi, the man, the myth, the legend from the 108 podcast will be coming on the show to talk about some of his favorite albums and some of the things that he loves and enjoys in the world of music. So it's going to be a really great time.
Wow. Wow.
Looking forward to that one. Also on Sunday, the Getting Drafty pod is going to come back. They were going to be doing their favorite fast food draft along with some of the ass members of Jackie, as well as Stoop Kid and Roxy, fellow penguin, to go along with Brian. They're going to be drafting their favorite fast food. I don't know if it's places or dishes, but I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. They're pretty hilarious when they have all of them together. Stupid is probably another hilarious guy. So Ass is filling it up. Yes, they are.
Sure is.
But that's our show for the week. Thank you again for tuning in. I know this was a long one. Thank you everybody for watching and sticking with us. We'll be back next week to go over our Oscar picks, and then we will announce another good show that we're gonna have coming soon. That's I'm really excited for after that. But until then, everyone, you guys have a good night.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?